What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Brain Gap Phil here. I know you guys were asking me about that last show. If you haven't checked it out, we did a deep dive into the Axeman of New Orleans. It was a crazy mystery. Of course, the guy was never found. Some suspicious activity was happening with, of course, him not axing the people he would run across if they were playing music. I won't get back into that. Check the last video out if you haven't already. Very, very interesting. I appreciate all the feedback in the comments. But I wanted to take a second. We haven't done this in a while. We're going to look at a couple stories from the normies out there to see if we can find a common theme. You know, a lot of times when we look at horror or mystery explanations, a lot of it is just maybe things that we think we see but we don't see, and there's really no realism to it. It's just our mind playing tricks on us, so we get confused and we try to speak to what we think it may be. So what we're gonna do, shout out to BuzzFeed here, we're on their website. We're gonna read a couple stories to see if we can see any golden threads between all of these stories and see if they are as creepy as they claim to be. Let's find out. All right, so y'all ready? Let's check a couple out. Here we go. So let's start with number 3. A couple of decades ago, I was working upstairs in my home office when I heard the front door open downstairs. And my older brother, who lived 4 hours away and whom I was not expecting, announced his arrival with a "hello" in a manner that was distinctive to him. Now, a sister will know her brother's voice, so when she says it was distinct, it means that she knows his tone, his mannerisms, and the vibe. I was surprised but pleased he was visiting. I yelled to him that I would be down in a couple of seconds after I saved my work on the computer. I went downstairs to greet him, but he was nowhere to be found. I figured he'd slipped outside to get something from his car, but there was no car and no brother. Completely perplexed, I eventually made my way upstairs again to resume work, annoyed, speculating that my brother had driven off to run an errand or visit a buddy, and wondering why couldn't he have waited a few moments for me. I sat down at my desk, and within a couple of seconds, the landline rang. It was my brother, telling me he'd be coming into town in a couple of days and wanting to make sure I'd be around. Interesting. So here we have family members. We have a sister sounds like she is excited that her brother will come visit her. So maybe that was a pattern of just memories or her thinking that, man, I would love for this to happen. She hears somebody yell her name. She knows the voice. Thinks the brother ran an errand. Brother calls saying, hey, I'm about to come visit you. Very interesting, because it's almost like she had foresight into what was going to happen in the future. Do you buy that one? Let's continue reading. See if there's any connections. Oh, there's more to it. I absolutely thought he was pranking me, but after maybe 10 minutes of me grilling him, making him hang up, and me calling him at his home number, I begrudgingly accepted that he was indeed at his home hours away. It creeped me out for a short while, but when I think about it these days, mainly I am bemused and in wonder. I like believing I had some sort of paranormal experience, or whatever it might be called. So she's not completely sold, but she thinks it may be. She's from Canada, or he's from Canada. Hold up. Was this a guy the whole time? Yeah, okay. So Andrew from Canada is confused. Let's read another story to see if we have any connections. Number 4. My family had moved to my grandma's friend's house while our current house was being built. It was an old house. My sister and I had a room with one bed, so we shared it that night. My parents' room was on the other side of the wall, and our beds were both against the same wall. Okay, other side parents, siblings, same wall. Anyway, the next morning, my sister and I were awakened by knocking on the wall from the other side. Okay, mom and dad. We started knocking back, giggling, thinking it was our parents. When we got up to say good morning, my parents weren't there. I texted them to ask where they were. And they were in the next town over at the grocery store. When they got back, my sister and I told them about the knocking. They told us that recently a member of my grandma's friend's family had died not too long before we moved in. They had her picture on the fridge and in the hallway leading to the bedrooms. So we got siblings hearing some knocking. Go to see who's knocking. Nobody's there. Somebody passed away. All right, so what are the connections so far? Last story, we had siblings, both kind of experiencing the same thing. The first story was really the first sibling experiencing something and calling the second. This story here, they both heard it. So maybe a little bit more credibility, because when you have more than one person hearing it, you can bring that to court, right? A little bit more evidence. Then you have a dead family member. So now we're bringing in that paranormal side to it, spiritual side to it, that ghostly side to it. Huh? You buying that one? Let's continue on. Number 5. I am a building contractor. I bought a lot with a small house and 2 other small ramshackle buildings on it. 3 total. I had to tear all 3 buildings down in order to build a new house. I was smashing the house down with my bulldozer, and my assistant was loading the debris into a dumpster. When in my peripheral vision, I saw an old lady in a granny dress and bonnet with a stick in her hand yelling, "What are you doing to my house?" I stopped, turned off the dozer, and went around to tell the woman not to come behind me like that, as I could have run her over. But there was no one there. I told the next door neighbor about it, and he said that an elderly woman with that description used to live there, but she died about 10 years previously. Okay, so no family members in this one. We do have a house that's involved. All these experiences did happen in a house, set location. 2 of the experiences were from someone who passed away. So this most recent one, an old lady had passed away, and he is disturbing her property. So perceivably, she's saying, "Hey, don't touch my stuff." Now, we only have 1 witness in this one, and that's the construction worker. We did have the neighbor corroborate that, yes, somebody did live here that looked just like that description that you gave me. Huh, okay. You buying that one? A couple commonalities, a couple themes, a couple mysteries. There's always some form of disturbance. It's always like in the scenario, you are doing something to disturb somebody else. The first one, there wasn't really a disturbance. There was just an interaction. So why would that be? If you believe in this sort of paranormal activity, you would have to say that somehow, for some reason, the spiritual or the non-physical, non-corporeal being is concerned about physical things. And why would that be? If you're in a realm where physical things don't matter anymore, why would you worry about physical things? Wouldn't you have other non-physical, invisible per se things that you would have that belong to you? Or is it because the thought process is you didn't move on, so now you're trying to cling on to historical things? Give me your thoughts. Which of these stories do you think rings more true than the other? Or are they all just made up? Very interesting. We'll read some more later, but give me your thoughts on these, because you know I don't know. You tell me. I'm just trying to fill my brain gap.